My name is Jin Rook, and the day I awakened, the system looked me directly in the soul and called me average. Not weak, not gifted, not cursed, just average. My strength was 10. My agility was 10. My intelligence was 10. Even my luck was 10, which felt less like balance and more like the universe refusing to have an opinion about me. Meanwhile, the guy awakening beside me got an A-rank lightning class and accidentally fried 3 ceiling lights with a sneeze. A girl from my neighborhood awakened a rare beast tamer class and immediately summoned a silver wolf the size of a motorcycle. My own screen showed one pathetic line: class, unassigned, talent, unknown. I stared at it for so long that the examiner thought the system had frozen. Then a second message appeared where only I could see it. Hidden talent detected. SSS rank, reward sovereign, effect. When a completed quest offers mutually exclusive rewards, the restriction is removed. New option unlocked, claim all. I almost laughed. That was it? No dragon blood, no time stop, no sword that cut mountains. I could just be greedier than everybody else. At the time, I had no idea that greed was about to become a combat style. 3 days later, I entered my first beginner dungeon with a loner sword, leather armor that smelled like another man's panic, and 12 copper coins in my pocket. The dungeon was called Moss Rat Burrow. Nobody respected Moss Rat Burrow. Veteran players used it to teach their kids how to swing weapons. A food delivery driver once cleared it by mistake because he took the wrong basement staircase. My assigned quest was simple: kill 20 moss rats. I killed the first one with a sword strike that looked impressive in my head and extremely clumsy in reality. The rat dodged, bit my boot, and made me spin into a wall. I eventually defeated it by stepping on its tail and apologizing before stabbing it. By the 20th rat, I had improved from embarrassing to barely legal. Then the quest completion screen appeared. Normally, every player got 4 reward choices: 50 stat points, a rare beginner weapon, 1 skill book, 10,000 experience. Pick one. That choice shaped your build. New players who chose stats became stronger early. Players who chose experience leveled faster. Players who took the weapon gained an equipment advantage. Players who took the skill book gambled on a useful ability. I looked at the 4 rewards. Then I looked at the 5th button glowing under them. Claim all. I pressed it. For half a second, nothing happened. Then my body exploded. Not literally, but it definitely felt personal. 50 stat points slammed into me at once. 10,000 experience rocketed me from level 1 to level 7. A rare black dagger appeared in my right hand. A skill book materialized in my left hand and immediately dissolved into blue light. Skill acquired. Shadow step. My beginner sword dropped to the floor. I dropped to the floor right after it. The system had just given me the combined growth of 4 different players for completing one quest. I should have gone home. Instead, I noticed the dungeon exit quest, Escape Moss Rat Burrow. That quest also had 4 reward choices, so I walked outside. Claim all. Another 20 stat points. A ring that increased regeneration. 3,000 experience. A passive skill called Night Eyes. I went back inside. The entrance quest triggered. Enter Moss Rat Burrow. It offered 4 tiny beginner rewards. I stared at the dungeon door, then at the exit, then back at the door. For the next 27 minutes, I walked in and out of Moss Rat Burrow, like a man who had forgotten where he parked. The system finally caught on. Repeated trivial quest rewards, reduced by 99%. I still claimed all of them. I left that afternoon at level 9 with a rare dagger, 3 rings, enough stat points to make a beginner examiner cry, and a completely unnecessary skill that let me identify edible mushrooms. That should have been the moment I decided to keep a low profile. Unfortunately, I have never been good at making decisions that reduce the chance of explosions. A week later, I joined a public dungeon raid under the old subway station. The party leader was a level 32 veteran named Garrick Vale. He had been a licensed player for 7 years, wore heavy silver armor, and spoke to beginners the way kings speak to furniture. He looked at my level 12 badge and pointed at the back line. You carry torches. I asked if I could fight. He pointed at the torches again, so I carried torches. The dungeon was infested with iron goblins, creatures with metal skin and a talent for building machines out of stolen appliances. We entered expecting rusty spears. Instead, the goblins had constructed a rotating cannon from 2 washing machines, a street light, and what I was pretty sure was a coffee maker. The first shot launched Garrick through a ticket booth. Our mage screamed. Our healer hid behind me. I was still holding the torches. A side quest appeared. Disable the goblin cannon. Reward choice. Thunder Spear skill. Iron body passive. 30 stat points. 20,000 experience. My eyes almost watered. I used Shadow Step to teleport behind the cannon. At level 12, Shadow Step was supposed to move me 3 meters. My boosted stats turned 3 meters into a violent black blur that sent my torch backward like a missile. It hit a goblin in the forehead. I reached the cannon, stabbed the control box, and accidentally activated the spin cycle. The entire machine tore itself apart. Quest complete. Claim all. Thunder Spear entered my skill list. Iron body fused into my muscles. 30 stat points went straight into agility. 20,000 experience pushed me to level 16. The next goblin charged me. I tried Thunder Spear. I expected a little lightning projectile. A blue spear the size of a telephone pole appeared above my hand. The goblin stopped running. I stopped breathing. The entire party stopped making sounds. I threw it. The spear punched through 6 goblins, 3 walls, an abandoned train, and something much deeper in the dungeon that immediately made a boss health bar appear. Garrick crawled out of the ticket booth and stared at me. You said you were level 12. I was. That answer made things worse. The accidental boss was the Iron Goblin King, a level 40 monster built like a refrigerator that had discovered anger. It burst through the tunnel wall wearing a crown made from traffic signs and carrying a hammer constructed from an entire parking meter. Garrick ordered everyone to retreat. The Goblin King roared. A quest appeared. Defeat the Iron Goblin King. The rewards were absurd for a beginner raid. Epic Hammer. Rare class evolution token. 70 stat points. 50,000 experience. My hidden talent practically purred. Garrick shouted, "Nobody touch the boss." We regroup. I looked at the rewards, then at the boss, then back at Garrick. Can I stop carrying torches? The Goblin King swung. I shadow stepped under the hammer, used my new iron body passive to survive the shockwave, jumped onto its arm, and drove the black dagger into its shoulder joint. It tried to grab me, so I activated Thunder Spear at point-blank range. That was when I learned a very important lesson. Lightning has splash damage. The explosion launched me into the ceiling. It launched the boss into the floor. It launched Garrick's helmet into a vending machine. When I fell back down, my hair was smoking and the Iron Goblin King had become a very expensive pile of scrap. Quest complete. Claim all. I reached level 23. The Epic Hammer appeared in my inventory. The class evolution token merged with my unassigned class and unlocked 4 choices. Blade Adept, Stormcaster, Iron Guardian, Shadow Hunter. Everyone else would choose one. My screen showed the same beautiful 5th button. Claim all. I pressed it before the system could reconsider. Class evolution successful. New class, Blade Adept. New class, Stormcaster. New class, Iron Guardian. New class, Shadow Hunter. Synergy detected. Hidden composite class created. Arsenal Monarch. That was the first time the system made a sound like it regretted knowing me. I came out of the subway at level 23 after entering at level 12. Garrick came out without his helmet, and with the expression of a man who had just watched retirement become a person. The guild inspectors surrounded me. One asked what my class was. I said, complicated. He asked what my main weapon was. I had a dagger on my belt, an epic hammer in storage, Thunder Spear in my skill list, and a class passive that increased damage with swords I did not own. So I said yes. 2 days later, every major guild in the capital tried to recruit me. The Iron Crown Guild offered money. The White Phoenix Guild offered rare equipment. The Black Harbor Guild offered me a penthouse. The Golden Lion Guild offered me 3 penthouses and a personal chef. I was about to sign with the chef when the system gave me a new quest. Choose a guild. Reward choice. Guild loyalty buff. Private training room. 10,000 gold. Unique companion egg. I stared at the contracts. Then I stared at the reward menu. Then I realized something dangerous. The quest did not say I had to choose one guild forever. It only said choose a guild. So I signed a temporary trial membership with the smallest guild in the city. A guild called Soup Ladle. They had 9 members, 1 broken office printer, and a mascot costume nobody admitted owning. Quest complete. Claim all. I received the loyalty buff, the training room key, 10,000 gold, and a glowing black companion egg. Then I canceled during the trial period. The system did not take the rewards back. I joined another guild. New quest. Join your first combat guild. Apparently Soup Ladle did not count. Claim all again. By the end of the week, I had joined and legally left 6 guilds, collected enough signing benefits to buy a small apartment building, and hatched a companion from the black egg. I expected a dragon. I got a tiny white chicken. It looked at me. I looked at it. The identification skill said, species, unknown. Threat level, undefined. Name, none. The chicken pecked my epic hammer and removed a bite-shaped chunk from it. I named him Omelette. Omelette became my greatest tactical mistake and my favorite person. The Guild Association finally forced me to take an official combat exam because my level was rising too fast to remain on a beginner license. The exam had 4 tests: strength, speed, magic, skill control. Most players specialized. I had 50 points too many in everything. The strength test used a reinforced crystal pillar designed to survive a level 60 fighter. I punched it gently. The pillar cracked. The wall behind it cracked. A parked carriage outside lost a wheel. The examiner slowly wrote down the number 900 and then added a question mark. The speed test was worse. I activated Shadow Step, overshot the finish line, passed through a staff lounge, stole somebody's sandwich by accident, and ended up outside in a fountain. The system gave me a hidden quest. Complete the speed test in under 3 seconds. I had done it in negative dignity. Quest complete. Reward choices. Agility points. Movement skill upgrade. Experience. Wind boots. Claim all. Shadow step evolved into void skip. The magic test instructor asked me to cast the weakest spell I knew. Thunder Spear was still the weakest spell I knew. They rebuilt that room later. By the skill control test, the examiners no longer wanted numbers. They wanted me to leave. Then a new candidate walked into the arena. His name was Leon Voss, level 68, S-rank class. 5 years of dungeon experience. National top 10 rookie from the previous generation. He was there to renew his elite license. He looked at the smoking wall behind me and laughed. So you're the new monster everyone's talking about. I told him I preferred administrative problem. He challenged me to a practice duel. The examiner immediately said no. The system immediately said yes. Quest. Survive 3 minutes against Leon Voss. Reward choice, S-rank sword technique. 80 stat points. 1 million experience. Mythic grade equipment chest. My brain stopped at mythic grade. I accepted. Leon drew a red sword and disappeared. I barely raised my dagger before he hit me hard enough to make the arena floor ripple. Iron body saved my ribs. Barely. He was faster than me in actual combat. Stronger too. My stats were high, but I had spent less than a month fighting monsters while Leon had spent years learning how not to get launched into fountains. So I did the only reasonable thing. I cheated with mathematics. Leon knew sword styles. I had Blade Adept prediction, Shadow Hunter footwork, Stormcaster reactions, and Iron Guardian defense. Instead of trying to beat his technique, I let 4 different class passives argue inside my body until the result looked like nonsense. He slashed high. My Guardian instinct told me block. My Hunter instinct told me dodge. My Blade instinct told me counter. My Storm instinct told me electrocute the problem. I did all 4. I crouched, blocked with the hammer, kicked his knee, teleported behind him, and accidentally summoned Thunder Spear upside down. The lightning blast hit the ceiling, bounced through the metal support rails, and shocked both of us. We stood there smoking. Leon started laughing. I started laughing too. Then Omelette ran into the arena, stole Leon's sword, and swallowed half the blade. The exam was paused for emergency chicken negotiations. 3 minutes passed. Quest complete. Claim all. 1 million experience crashed into me. I jumped from level 27 to level 41. 80 stat points entered my body. The S-rank sword technique, Falling Star Severance, became mine instantly. A mythic equipment chest appeared. I opened it. Inside was a coat, just a black coat. I was disappointed until I read the description. Mythic item, Coat of the Last Audience. Effect 1. Scales defense with the number of enemies observing you. Effect 2. Increases intimidation when entering late. Effect 3. Automatically repairs dramatic tears. I put it on. The arena lights flickered. A wind blew through the room despite there being no open windows. Leon looked at me and said, "That is the most unfair coat I've ever seen." I agreed. Then the national ranking system updated. A level 41 nobody had just survived Leon Voss. My name entered the top 1,000. That should have brought fame. Instead, it brought assassins. At midnight, 3 masked players broke into my apartment. They were professionals. 1 disabled the security rune. 1 poisoned my door handle. 1 used a silence barrier. The 3rd was apparently responsible for standing dramatically by the window. I woke up because Omelette was eating the poison. The assassins attacked. A quest appeared. Survive the assassination. The reward choices were hidden. That was new. I dodged the first blade, activated void skip, and appeared behind the window guy. He turned. I punched him. My new stats had increased more than I realized. He went through the window. We lived on the 8th floor. I panicked and void skipped after him, caught his ankle in midair, then realized I had no flight skill. So now both of us were falling. The assassin looked at me. I looked at him. He asked, "What was your plan?" I had one until the window. I summoned Thunder Spear beneath us and detonated it downward. The explosion launched us back upward through my own window. The second assassin stared at us in complete silence. Then Omelette jumped on his face. The 3rd assassin tried to escape. Falling Star Severance activated for the first time. I swung the half-broken beginner dagger. A silver line crossed the room. The assassin's weapon split in half. The wall split in half. The refrigerator split in half. My midnight noodles died instantly. That made it personal. 30 seconds later, all 3 assassins were unconscious. Omelette was sitting on the strongest one's chest, and my landlord was sending me messages containing words I had never seen in a rental agreement. Quest complete. The hidden rewards appeared. Assassin's Cloak. Poison immunity. 200 stat points. 3 million experience. Claim all. Level 49. Poison immunity. More stats. A cloak. that became invisible in darkness. I put the cloak over the mythic coat. The system said the items were incompatible. My talent changed the message. Equipment restriction removed. Both effects active. That was when I understood the real danger of Reward Sovereign. It did not only give me more rewards. It removed the idea that I had to make choices. Every player in the world lived inside trade-offs. Tank or damage. Magic or strength. Speed or defense. Experience or gear. One skill path or another. My talent looked at every fork in the road and built a highway straight through the middle. 3 months after awakening, I was level 59. People who had started 10 years before me were still in the 40s. That was when the sky cracked open. A world event triggered above the capital. The clouds split apart, and a creature the size of a city swam through the air. It looked like a whale made from black stone and lightning. System announcement. Calamity Beast detected. Sky Leviathan. Level 120. Emergency raid quest issued to all licensed players. The capital went silent. Then every guild alarm began screaming at once. The Sky Leviathan opened its mouth and swallowed a radio tower. It did not even chew. National guilds mobilized. Leon Voss arrived in red armor. Garrick Vale showed up with a new helmet and avoided eye contact with me. Hundreds of players gathered on rooftops while army cannons fired into the sky. The Leviathan's health bar barely moved. My raid quest appeared. Contribute to the defense of the capital. Reward choice. 50 million experience. Legendary weapon. S-rank passive. 300 stat points. My finger was already moving toward claim all when another message appeared. Special condition detected. Contribution reward scales with impact. I smiled. Leon saw me smile. No, I had not said anything. He pointed at me. Whatever you're thinking, no. Then the Sky Leviathan released a roar that shattered windows across 6 districts. A storm of black lightning fell toward the streets. I activated Iron Guardian's barrier skill. It covered me and maybe 6 people. Not enough. Then I remembered something stupid. Guild loyalty buff. I had received it from the Soup Ladle quest months ago. The buff increased defensive skills based on the number of registered guild allies nearby. I was not in Soup Ladle anymore, but the buff had never disappeared. Also, because I had joined 6 guilds, my status still contained old alliance tags that the system had never cleaned up. I activated the barrier. The system tried to count my allies. It counted nearly every licensed player in the city. My little defensive shield exploded outward into a golden dome the size of downtown. The black lightning hit it. The sky turned white. My knees almost folded. Mana drained from me so fast that my vision blurred. Then Reward Sovereign did something I had never seen before. A micro quest triggered for successful defense. Protect 10 civilians. Reward choice. Mana potion. Mana regeneration buff. 1 stat point. Minor experience. Claim all. Then another. Protect 100 civilians. Claim all. Then another. Protect 1,000 civilians. Claim all. The quest stacked faster than my mana drained. Every wave of people protected gave me more regeneration, more stats, more experience, more potions. I started drinking potions like a man trying to win an argument with his own kidneys. The barrier stabilized. The entire city looked up. Leon looked at me. Garrick looked at me. A television helicopter zoomed in on me chugging blue mana potions with omelette sitting on my head. Not my most heroic visual, but it worked. The Leviathan grew angry. It opened its mouth again and began charging something that made every alarm in the city change pitch. Leon shouted that its core was exposed. Players launched attacks. Fire, ice, arrows, cannons, summoned beasts. The core cracked but did not break. I used Void Skip to teleport onto the roof of the tallest building. Falling Star Severance in one hand. Thunder Spear in the other. Epic Hammer strapped to my back. Dagger between my teeth because I had run out of hands. Omelette screamed from my shoulder. I jumped. My coat recognized that several million people were watching the live broadcast. Defense multiplier increased. Intimidation multiplier increased. Dramatic wind increased for no useful reason. I flew toward the Leviathan like a badly organized weapon cabinet. Then a new quest appeared in mid-air. Land the decisive strike. Rewards. Legendary Stormblade. Mythic movement skill. 500 stat points. 100 million experience. Claim all was glowing. I hit it before I hit the whale. The system refused. Quest incomplete. Fine. I used Void Skip. Once. Twice. 3 times. Each teleport carried me higher until I reached the Leviathan's cracked core. It opened one giant stone eye. I had the sudden feeling it was offended by my existence. I combined Falling Star Severance with Thunder Spear. The system warned me the skills were incompatible. Reward Sovereign removed the restriction. The silver sword aura wrapped around the blue lightning spear. I smashed both into the core with the epic hammer. There was a moment of perfect silence. Then the sky detonated. The shockwave flattened every cloud over the capital. The Sky Leviathan split open from nose to tail. Inside the beast was not flesh. It was a dungeon. Thousands of glowing rooms, Chains, ruins, monsters, and treasure chambers were suspended inside its body like an entire world had been swallowed. Then the Leviathan collapsed into light. Quest complete. Contribution rank. First. Impact score, error. Reward multiplier, error. My menu appeared. Legendary Stormblade. Mythic movement skill. 500 stat points. 100 million experience. Claim all. I pressed it. The level notifications hit so fast they became one continuous sound. 60, 61, 63, 67, 72, 78. By the time it stopped, I was level 81. The legendary Stormblade appeared in my inventory. The mythic movement skill upgraded Void Skip into World Step. 500 stat points turned my body into something I was no longer qualified to operate. I landed 3 kilometers away by accident, in another district, inside a wedding. I crashed through the cake. The bride screamed. The groom raised a chair. I apologized, gave them 10,000 gold, and used World Step to flee before I became a raid boss. The country celebrated the Leviathan's defeat. News stations called me the Black Coat Calamity. I hated the name. Leon loved the name. He changed my contact name to Black Coat Calamity and sent me screenshots. I blocked him for 11 minutes. Then the real problem arrived. The Leviathan had dropped a world key. Normally, the highest contributing player would choose one of 4 rewards connected to the world key. Sell it to the system for wealth. Use it to open a legendary dungeon. Consume it for a permanent blessing. Donate it to unlock a national barrier. 4 paths. 1 choice. I received the menu privately at dawn. Claim all. I should have known that claiming all 4 uses of a single key would be complicated. I pressed it anyway. The key split into 4 identical copies. 1 vanished and deposited enough gold into my inventory to destabilize several regional banks. 1 dissolved into my chest and gave me a blessing called Sky Eater. 1 flew toward the center of the capital and expanded into a permanent barrier. The 4th opened a door. Not a normal door. A black stone door, 300 meters tall, appeared in the middle of the central plaza. On the front were 99 glowing numbers. Legendary World Dungeon unlocked. Tower of Failed Heroes. Entry requirement, level 90. I was level 81. Everybody looked at the tower. Then everybody looked at me. I went home and locked my door. That lasted 4 hours. A tower-related quest appeared. Reach level 90. Reward choice. 9 levels. 900 stat points. Legendary title. Class evolution. I stared at the screen. The system had just offered 9 levels as a reward for reaching level 90, which meant I needed to reach level 90 first. Ridiculous. So I started looking for high-level quests. The first came from the National Guild Association. A fortress city in the western desert had stopped responding. Scouts reported a moving dungeon underneath it. The mission was rated for players level 70 and above. Perfect. I arrived with Leon, a dozen elite players, and Omelette, who had recently learned to breathe purple fire whenever anyone tried to take food away from him. The fortress was empty. No bodies, no damage, just thousands of shoes. Every person in the city had vanished and left their shoes behind. Leon looked at the streets. This is disturbing. Omelette stole a boot. That is more disturbing. We found the dungeon entrance under the governor's mansion. The moment we entered, the floor became a tongue. A gigantic mouth snapped shut around us. The moving dungeon was alive. System identification, devouring labyrinth. Threat level, extreme. Dungeon trait. Every room consumes 1 player attribute. The first room stole strength. The second stole agility. The third stole mana. By the 4th room, elite players were collapsing. The labyrinth was designed to force specialized parties to choose who suffered each penalty. Tanks lost strength. Mages lost mana. Scouts lost speed. The group had to rotate sacrifices. Then my talent noticed something. The rooms did not say penalty. They said exchange. Give 1 attribute. Receive 1 passage token. A choice menu appeared each time. Lose strength. Lose agility. Lose intelligence. Lose vitality. Everyone had to pick 1. My hidden talent searched for the reward portion of the transaction, then changed the menu. Receive all passage tokens. The losses stayed optional. I started walking through doors for free. Leon stared at my screen projection. That cannot be legal. Neither was the whale. We moved deeper. The dungeon became desperate. It created harder choices. Sacrifice 1 weapon. Sacrifice 1 skill. Sacrifice 10 levels. Sacrifice a companion. I chose none. Claim all only applied to the rewards. So the system kept handing me every passage token while Reward Sovereign refused to treat destruction as something worth claiming. The devouring labyrinth began to shake. I think the dungeon was having the magical equivalent of a panic attack. At the center, we found the missing citizens floating inside glass stomachs. The dungeon boss was a giant golden mimic, shaped like a treasure chest with 12 legs. Name, Taxmaw, Collector of Choices. It spoke. That was new. Every gain requires loss. I pointed at myself. Apparently not. Taxmaw hated that. It attacked with chains that forced temporary class restrictions. Sword skills sealed. Magic sealed. Movement sealed. Defense sealed. One by one, my abilities disappeared. Leon moved in to cover me. Then the boss made a mistake. It sealed Arsenal Monarch. My status reverted to the 4 base classes that had created it. Blade Adept, Stormcaster, Iron Guardian, Shadow Hunter. The seal had removed the composite class but accidentally restored the components. I laughed so hard Taxmaw paused. Then I attacked with 4 class ultimates at once. A sword wave cut its front legs. A lightning field cooked the chains. A guardian charge flipped the treasure chest over. A shadow strike hit the lock. Omelette landed on top and pecked the lid. Taxmaw screamed. The lid opened. Inside was a small glowing accountant wearing glasses. We all stared. He looked at us, then he stamped a document. Audit failed. The entire dungeon exploded into reward screens. Save the fortress citizens. Defeat Taxmaw. Clear the devouring labyrinth. Discover the dungeon core. Survive without attribute loss. Break the exchange mechanic. Each quest had 4 rewards. Claim all. Claim all. Claim all. Claim all. Claim all. Claim all. Experience poured into me. Stat points stacked. Skills appeared. Equipment filled my inventory. Titles multiplied. One reward gave me a legendary passive called Equal Exchange. It allowed me to convert excess resources between categories. Mana into stamina. Stamina into health. Gold into mana. Experience into temporary skill power. Normally it had terrible conversion rates. My SSS talent saw the conversion menu. Spend 1 resource to receive another. It removed the forced loss. That was the moment Leon sat down on the dungeon floor. What happened? I think I can generate resources from conversion. He stared at me. Do not. I haven't done anything. Your face is doing something. I tested 1 point of mana. Equal Exchange offered to convert it into 1 point of stamina. Reward Sovereign gave me the stamina. It did not remove the mana. Then it offered to convert the new stamina into health. I kept the stamina. Received health. Then health into mana. I kept the health. Received mana. I had invented an infinite triangle. The system immediately intervened. Exploit detected. Conversion loop limited. I managed to gain 11 points before the lock. Still worth it. The quest rewards pushed me to level 89. 1 level short. The Tower of Failed Heroes stood in the capital like it was mocking me. I needed 1 more level. Then Omelette sneezed purple fire onto my kitchen table and revealed a hidden message carved into the world key fragment I had kept. Feed the keybearer's companion a star metal object. I looked at Omelette. He looked at the legendary Stormblade. No. He opened his beak. No. He ran. I chased him through the apartment. He jumped off the balcony. I used World Step. He flapped. I missed. He landed on the roof, grabbed the legendary Stormblade from my inventory somehow, and swallowed the hilt. A secret quest completed. Raise an impossible familiar. Rewards. Familiar evolution. 1 level. Divine grade pet armor. Shared skill slot. Claim all. Level 90. Omelette erupted in purple fire. For 1 glorious second, I thought he was finally becoming a dragon. The flames vanished. He was still a chicken. Now he wore a tiny golden crown. Evolution. Sovereign Devourer Chicken. Ability. Can consume equipment to permanently gain 1 property. I looked at my half-eaten legendary blade. Omelette burped lightning. I forgave him. The level 90 quest completed immediately after. Reach level 90. 9 levels. 900 stat points. Legendary title. Class evolution. Claim all. My level jumped from 90 to 99. 900 stat points entered my body. Title acquired. One who refuses the fork. Class evolution options appeared. War Saint. Void Magus. Immortal Fortress. Knight Emperor. Claim all. The system froze for 3 full seconds. Then every option activated. Composite evolution detected. Arsenal Monarch evolving. New class. Infinite Armory. Class effect. Every learned combat style contributes to every other style. That sentence was insane. My sword skill now increased magic damage. My magic increased defense. My defense increased movement. My movement increased sword skill. All 4 paths fed each other in a loop. I tried 1 practice swing on my rooftop. The moon developed a thin glowing line across its surface. I decided to stop practicing near civilization. At level 99, I entered the Tower of Failed Heroes. The entire capital watched. Hundreds of elite players entered behind me. The tower had 99 floors. Every floor contained the remnant of a legendary player who had died attempting some impossible feat. Each remnant offered a challenge and, if defeated, a choice among 4 inherited rewards. The tower was supposed to take months. I reached floor 10 before lunch. Floor 1 contained a swordsman who could cut sound. I beat him by using Thunder Spear because silence does not stop lightning from being rude. Claim all. Floor 2 contained a mage who could reverse gravity. I used World Step to teleport onto the ceiling and fought there like it was normal. Claim all. Floor 3 contained a giant knight whose shield reflected damage. I stopped attacking and let Omelette eat the shield. Claim all. By floor 7, the tower started changing the rules. Floor 8 was a cooking duel. The failed hero had once been a battle chef. I could not cook. so I used equal exchange to convert raw ingredients into finished dishes. The system complained this was not cooking. The battle chef tasted the food anyway, cried, and admitted defeat. Claim all. Floor 9 was a riddle. The question was, what belongs to you but is used more by others? I said, my landlord's security deposit. Wrong. Leon, watching remotely, messaged me the answer. Your name. I answered. Correct. Claim all. Floor 10 was a martial artist who became stronger every time he got hit. So I did not hit him. I complimented him. He became confused. I complimented his stance. His confidence stat rose. Then I used an intimidation skill from my coat to make him think the compliments were sarcastic. His emotional state collapsed. He surrendered. Claim all. The tower had no rule against psychological nonsense. By floor 20, other teams had stopped trying to keep up. By floor 30, people outside were placing bets on what rule I would break next. By floor 40, the tower bosses were coordinating. I opened the door to floor 41 and found 6 previous floor guardians sitting around a table. They had formed a union. A ghostly swordsman pointed at me. We have complaints. I slowly closed the door. The quest triggered. Resolve labor dispute. Reward choice. Negotiation skill. Charisma points. Legendary contract. Experience. I reopened the door. Would you like better break schedules? The ghosts looked at each other. 40 minutes later, I had negotiated a rotating boss calendar, hazard pay in soul energy, and 1 guaranteed day off every 100 years. Quest complete. Claim all. The contract became mine. The negotiation skill became mine. My charisma rose enough that the next 2 bosses surrendered after I explained the benefits package. I reached floor 50 in 2 days. The 50th floor was different. No boss, no arena, just a white room with 1 chair. On the chair sat a little girl in a red coat. She looked about 10 years old. My identification skill returned nothing. She kicked her feet. You are taking too much. I looked around. Is this about the union? No, because I can renegotiate. She raised 1 finger. The world froze. Omelette froze in mid-air. My system screen turned gray. The girl walked toward me. You are violating reward conservation. That sounded serious. I asked what reward conservation was. She explained that every system quest generated a fixed progression budget. 4 choices did not mean 4 full rewards existed independently. The system created 4 possible futures and only manifested 1. My talent was forcing all 4 futures to become real at the same time. Every quest I completed was costing the system 4 times what it expected. Actually, more than 4, because my class synergies created new rewards from interactions. How much more? I asked. She stared at me. Enough that 3 regional servers are borrowing experience from next year. I did not know experience could have debt. Apparently, I had caused magical inflation. The girl introduced herself as Mira, a system auditor, not a god, not a player, an administrator. She had come to disable my talent. I immediately backed away. No. She held out her hand. A red quest appeared. Submit to correction. Reward choice. Keep your level. Keep your stats. Keep your equipment. Keep your skills. I understood the trap. If I accepted, I could choose 1 category to preserve. Everything else would be deleted. Mira looked calm. Choose. My talent activated. The menu changed. Claim all. Mira's face changed for the first time. I pressed it. The system accepted. I kept my level. I kept my stats. I kept my equipment. I kept my skills. And because the quest counted as completed, it gave me a completion reward for submitting to correction. I had technically submitted. The correction just preserved everything. Mira stared at the screen for several seconds. Then she sat back down. I hate talents. I liked her immediately. She tried another approach. She issued a penalty quest. Return excess progression. Penalty options. Lose 20 levels. Lose 500 stat points. Destroy 3 legendary items. Erase 10 skills. Reward Sovereign examined the menu. No reward detected. Claim all unavailable. For 1 horrible second, I thought she had me. Then I noticed the quest reward at the bottom. Compliance reward. 1 system favor. I accepted the quest. Mira smiled. I opened equal exchange. I converted 1 system favor into equivalent value. The system asked what category. My talent added every category. Claim all. The single favor split into enough value to compensate for the required losses. The penalty quest marked itself paid. Nothing was taken from me. Mira rubbed both hands over her face. You are not a player. You are a bug with hair. That is still better than Black Coat Calamity. She threatened to ban me from quests entirely. Then the tower shook. Something struck it from outside. The white room cracked. Mira looked up. For the first time, she seemed afraid. A black notification appeared. Unauthorized administrator access detected. Then every screen in the room filled with 1 symbol. A golden crown broken down the middle. Mira whispered, "They found you." Before I could ask who, the wall exploded. A man stepped through the dust. He wore white armor covered in old system text. His eyes were empty blue windows. Behind him floated 7 weapons, each one carrying a different legendary aura. Identification failed. Mira called him a collector. Collectors were former players who had climbed beyond level 200 and been absorbed into the system as living enforcement weapons. They did not clear dungeons. They cleared mistakes. Mira pointed at me. You are the mistake. The collector looked at me with those empty blue eyes. Jin Rook. Surrender reward sovereign. I glanced at Mira. Can I surrender Garrick instead? Somewhere very far below us, I imagined Garrick feeling offended for no reason. The collector raised one finger. Floor 49 vanished. Not shattered. Not burned. Vanished. 1 second there was a floor beneath us. The next there was open air and a clean square of nothing where stone, monsters, treasure, and several unionized ghost warriors had existed. I stopped smiling. A quest appeared. Survive the collector for 3 minutes. Reward choice. Divine weapon. 100 million experience. 500 stat points. Administrator fragment. 4 rewards. My favorite number. Claim all weighted beneath them. But it was gray. Quest incomplete. 3 minutes suddenly felt longer than my entire childhood. The collector moved. I did not see him cross the room. I only saw his fist already touching my chest. My mythic coat hardened because millions of people were still watching the tower broadcast. That saved my life. It did not save the wall. I flew backward through 6 rooms, 2 staircases, a kitchen, and the battle chef's emergency pantry. I landed in a mountain of onions. The battle chef stared at me. I stared at him. Union emergency. He grabbed his frying pan. Best contract I ever signed. The collector walked through the broken rooms, while every tower guardian I had negotiated with began appearing around him. Sword ghosts, ancient knights, a gravity mage, the riddle master, even the martial artist I defeated with emotional damage. 40 failed heroes surrounded one system enforcer. The collector looked at them. Unauthorized interference. The ghostly swordsman raised his weapon. Unauthorized overtime. They attacked. The tower became a blender. The collector erased 3 ghosts with one swing. A guardian slammed him through a pillar. A mage inverted gravity. The chef threw a flaming pan. The riddle master shouted, "What has 4 legs in the morning?" Nobody listened to him. I checked the timer. 2 minutes, 43 seconds. This was going badly. Then the side quest started. Protect an allied spirit. Reward choice. Defense skill, experience, stat points, potion. Claim all. Assist a tower guardian. Claim all. Coordinate 5 allies. Claim all. Survive 10 seconds. Claim all. My level rose. 99 became 100. A hidden milestone triggered. Break the first mortal limit. Rewards. Limit breaker passive. Mythic skill slot. 1000 stat points. Class authority increase. Claim all. My body went from ridiculous to irresponsible. The floor cracked under my feet while I was standing still. The collector turned toward me. For the first time, one of his blue eyes narrowed. I smiled again. That expression looks expensive. I attacked. Falling star severance wrapped around thunder spear. Void step stacked with my guardian charge. The epic hammer came down with enough force to turn the air solid. The system screamed that the skills were incompatible. Reward sovereign removed the restriction. My attack hit the collector. The tower shook from bottom to top. His feet moved backward exactly 1 step. 1 step. I had used everything. He had moved 1 step. I checked the timer. 2 minutes, 9 seconds. This is going to be annoying. The collector raised his hand. A blue seal covered the tower. Quest access suspended. Reward access suspended. Inventory access suspended. Skill access restricted. My screens disappeared. Every side quest vanished. Even the 3-minute survival quest went black. For the first time since Moss Rat Burrow, there was no reward menu in front of me. No choices. No claim all. Just me. The collector walked closer. Mira's face turned white. He locked you out of the system. I tried Thunder Spear. Nothing. World Step. Nothing. Inventory. Nothing. I looked at Omelette. He looked at me. The collector raised one of his floating swords. Then Omelette jumped. He flew directly into the blue seal and bit it. There are moments in life when the smartest response is silence. Watching a chicken chew system authority was one of them. Omelette swallowed. The blue seal cracked. The collector froze. Mira froze. I froze. Omelette burped a tiny square of blue light. Then my hidden talent screen flickered back on. Not the system. Just reward sovereign. A message appeared in black letters instead of blue. External reward source detected. That had never happened before. A new quest opened. Touch the collector once. Reward choices. Original talent memory. Forbidden world map. System root key. Identity of reward sovereign's creator. My heartbeat stopped. Those rewards did not come from the tower. They did not come from Mira. They did not come from the system. Someone else was offering them. I looked at the sender field. Sender Jin Rook. My own name. I stared at Mira. Can administrators send quests using another person's name? Her expression told me the answer before she spoke. No. The collector suddenly stopped attacking. All 7 weapons rotated toward the ceiling. Something above the tower had frightened him. A crack opened in the white sky. Behind it was darkness. Then an eye. Then the outline of a man sitting on a throne made from broken reward screens. I could not see his face clearly. I did not need to. The shape was mine. Same hair. Same shoulders. Same stupid habit of leaning forward when something interesting was about to happen. The figure lifted one hand. His screen appeared beside mine. Talent. SSS rank. Reward sovereign. I felt cold. Mine was not unique. Maybe it had never been mine at all. The survival timer came back. 1 minute, 58 seconds. The collector looked from me to the figure beyond the crack. For the first time, the level 200 monster backed away. The man on the throne smiled. Then he spoke directly into my head. You have been claiming my rewards. I looked at the 4 impossible rewards waiting behind the quest. The claim all button lit up beneath them. All I had to do was touch the collector once. The collector raised 7 weapons. The other Jin raised 1 hand. Omelette climbed onto my shoulder and started chewing the last piece of system seal like popcorn. I tightened my grip on the hammer. A month ago, moss rats had nearly killed me. Now a system executioner stood in front of me. Another version of myself sat beyond the sky. And both of them looked like they wanted something I had. Good. I was getting tired of easy rewards anyway. I stepped forward.